Thanks for tuning in. Today I want to share my first impressions on the so popular HERMES Chypre Sandal style. I was fortunate enough to pick up a pair while I was visiting Hawaii. If you haven't seen my massive Hawaii haul yet, I will link it up above. I recommend you check it out. I feel like there's some goodies in there and a little more context on some of the pieces that I picked up, but I have recently been able to get my hands on a pair of the coveted Chypre sandals. I have worn them a few times and I wanted to share some of my thoughts to help you guys decide whether you really wanted to try and hunt them down or, skip them for yourselves. If you're tuning in for the first time, hi, I'm Katie. I like to do these luxury fashion videos here on YouTube. I share hauls and reviews, but at the end of the day, I share my journey so we can all mindfully curate our own collections. So if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment down below with your thoughts on these sandals. All of your support really means a lot to me. Like most first impression videos, I will share the specifics of the pair that I have. These are my Chypre sandals. I have the black leather and natural shearling combination. It's like a smooth, thick calfskin, if I had to guess. I purchased the men's style. If I'm not mistaken, I think there is a men's and a women's style. They look pretty identical, so it's like the same style. It's not like the Iran and Izmir where it's slightly different for the men's. I think it's pretty much the same style for men's and women's. They're just cut slightly wider for the men's, and the sizing convention would follow your typical women's and men's sizing convention. I was told by New York City SA and also by the SA in Hawaii that they run pretty small, so even though they were men's, it was worth trying out. I would concur with that because I purchased a men's size 40. For reference, I'm a US woman's 8. I typically wear a size 39 in HERMES shoes for women's, so a men's size 40 seems pretty large for me to wear. A couple things to note though about that. Because I have the shearling footbed, I think it's not that the shearling really takes up a lot of space necessarily, but I do think because it covers the bits on the outside that even if it were a little bit bigger, it looked okay. Like it didn't look like the shoe was way too big because there is this kind of fluffy material that's like sort of encompassing the perimeter. So that might be why the 40 fit me okay, because originally I was thinking I might need a 39.5. So it is only a half size larger than what I was aiming for in the Chypre styles in particular, but just something to note. All right, let me put them down to dive into the pros and cons of this style based on some initial wear. The pros, they're super soft. I know that's really specific to the shearling style that I have, but they are super, super soft, which makes them a really nice, it's like a little joy when you go out in them because they are so soft on your feet. And they are pretty comfortable when you're standing, both because of the shearling and the footbed itself is pretty comfortable. I'm starting to feel them mold to my feet as well, so I'm starting to feel them get a little bit more comfortable, and it is making walking in them that much easier and that much more, and the shoe itself that much more comfortable when I go outside. The front part here is actually a Velcro, so you can adjust how tight this band goes across your foot. There's no adjustment on this kind of H part. Like I said, the style is really cool. It's like it's another evolution of the dad sandal, I guess, right? And that's, I think, what I like the most about it. And I like the unexpectedness with the leather and the shearling on the same shoe. The thing I like the most about these is that the shearling doesn't come all the way down the edges of the shoe, which makes me comfortable to actually wear them outside. And yes, I have worn these outside. Because there is this rubber bit at the bottom, it's about 1 centimeter going all the way across, I feel okay wearing these outside because it's not like the shearling is long hair, and it's not like it's coming all the way down to the bottom where it's really going to be dragging all the dust from the floor. In contrast, some of you know that I have the LV shearling slippers from last year as well, and I've kept these exclusively as indoor slippers slash indoor shoes because if you can see on the side, you see how the shearling goes all the way down to the bottom. it literally picks up all the dust inside the home as well, so I can only imagine really wearing these outside. That's why I've chosen to keep these as indoor shoes, and I still love them for that purpose. But that's what makes the Chypres so much more cooler for me, because I can wear them outside. I'm not going to say they'll pick up no dust, I'm sure they still do, but because there is that rubber bit at the bottom and the shearling doesn't go all the way, I feel like it's, you know, sweeping less dust as I walk. Also, it has a rubber sole at the bottom, so it means you won't slip, which is excellent. Overall, I just really like this style. I think they help make your feet look pretty slim and slender because the shoe is pretty chunky. Moving on to some cons, or some things that I want to mention so you are aware. The first time I wore these, this front band actually started to dig a little bit into the top of my foot. Now that I feel it molding a little bit more, I think it's doing that a little less, because I think the leather is starting to starting to fit better with the contours of my foot. But the first time I wore them out, by the end of the day, it's not that I got a blister, but it's more, I think my foot wasn't used to something really being there, because this is pretty much where my ankle would start. And so I think my foot wasn't quite used to something kind of always being there, and the little bit of friction and just all, that kind of, what happens with new shoes. So I wanted to mention that in case if you're someone who has a really high foot bed is the bottom, but the top part of your foot, you know what I mean? If you have a really high kind of curved arch there, like these shoes might actually be really uncomfortable for you. If you have narrow feet, I also think you should stay away from the men's shoe, maybe even the women's shoe, because I feel like this is a pretty wide shoe. There's nothing holding your heel in, so your foot can easily slide in and out. Narrow feet folks, this might not be the best style for you. The Orans might work a little bit better. I don't know if it's because I bought the men's size, but initially, the first time I wore them out, I was struggling to walk in them a little bit. I thought maybe I actually did buy a size too large, and that's why I was having a harder time to walk. The other thing I noticed was, I understand they are a slipper style, and a lot of times slipper styles will require you to sort of drag your heels a little bit while you walk. I personally don't like walking with dragging heels, if that makes sense. So even when I wear my Orans, my heels will touch first with the shoe on. And that's how I like to walk. That's how I feel like I can walk more quickly without having to like drag my heels and my shoe while I go along. But these, sometimes I feel like to walk fast, you're going to have to drag your feet a little bit, like drag your heels. And that's not the most comfortable way for me to walk, which is something I don't really like. Because they are molding to my feet, I feel like that's happening a bit less now. So I will share if that improves over time as well. It might just be my foot wasn't used to walking in these shoes, and that's why I had to drag them a little bit more. But another thing to mention in case you're wondering. And I've worn these, let's say 3-4 times now, a handful of times for sure. And I'm already starting to see some wear right here. It's along this kind of crease. It's pretty much because my foot would bend there, like that's where my toes bend. So I'm starting to see a little crease here and in the same spot on the other shoe as well. So I think it's also because it is a smooth leather that I don't think this is abnormal amounts of wear by any means, but letting you know that when the shoe shows signs of wear, that it'll start creasing around here. That might bother you, that might be unsightly for you. So if you don't like your shoes creasing, then this might not be a good option for you either. The last thing I don't like so much about this shoe style is how tricky it is to get your size. Basically, I don't think it's a good contender for you to get online or through a reseller or through a personal shopper, because unless you've tried them on and you know your size, I think it's going to be pretty tricky to figure out which one is your right size. You can do a women's to men's shoe sizing conversion, but because these came out pretty small, there's no guarantee on how many sizes up you have to go. And because it's so difficult to figure that out, you're going to have to try the shoe on to see what size fits you best. Whatever size is available, I would just even if it's like, especially if it's a larger size, I'd go ahead and just try it on, because you never know. It might be 2 sizes larger than typical, but it might fit you like Cinderella. So apparently there's a quota on this style of shoe now. I thought that was really interesting. I guess that's also a testament to how popular this style is. Typically I like to do first impression videos like a month or 2 after getting a new piece, but I know how popular these are, so I figured I would do one. I've worn them a handful of times. Plus, the season right now, the weather right now is like the perfect time to wear these, so I figured I'd just get more wear out of them and do a first impressions video sooner. I can't speak for the non-shearling versions as of yet. If I manage to get my hands on one, I might be able to share a comparison of the shearling versus non-shearling version. But if you have any information on the non-shearling version and any insights you would like to share, please leave them down below so we can all learn from you as well. I think because I already had the LV shearling slippers, I think I knew I would like the shearling style. It didn't bother me that they were shearling. In terms of price, there was a slight premium for having the shearling footbed. I think it was about $150, somewhere there. So about $150 more for the shearling version versus the standard men's, you know, non-shearling footbed. And the one other thing that I'm curious to see how it wears over time is the fact that this is like natural colored shearling. So my LVs are black, so they're dyed darker. And it doesn't mean you don't see the dust on them, you still do, but at least like you don't see them getting dirty, if that makes sense. But this is a natural color, so I do feel like they can get dirty. So I'm curious to see how that goes. I don't even know how you're supposed to clean it once it gets dirty. But I will definitely keep you guys in the loop for how that goes. Net for me, I'm super happy that I have them in my collection. I'm not going to lie, the first time I wore them, I did have some doubt. I did wonder, I was like, why do people really like these? Why is this all over the internet? Like, why are people going crazy? Why is there a quota for these shoes? Like, I don't know. I don't think they're that amazing. But as I continued to wear them and then they molded to my feet, I started to at least get to the point where I'm like, ooh, they're comfortable. I figured out how to walk in them. You know what I mean? Like, I started to get that feeling where these are shoes that are much more for me than the other way around. I'm super happy to have mine, and I look forward to like styling them in a lot of different ways. I also like that they are in shearling. I realize that it might limit styling options or seasons that I can wear them in, but I still really like them. And for me, they add a new element, like a different element in my wardrobe, which I look forward to and I like having, because at this point, I do have a lot of classic styles. I do have a lot of things like basics and staples that I can work with. So now I look to add things that are a little bit different, right? So I like that about them. Man, do I think you really have to like run out and do whatever you can to try to get a pair? I don't think so, to be honest. If you're able to get one and like find it in your size and it fits well on your feet and they're comfortable for you, like I think totally. But like, do you have to go like seek out a reseller, pay premium for it and make sure you get one in your, I don't think so. I don't think you have to go like that far to get them. I highly suspect that Hermes will continue to make this style. They're seeing how popular they are now, and they are a business after all, so why would they stop producing something that they know is pretty popular and well received, right? I do feel like they're going to continue to come out with more styles every season, which might make it a little bit easier to find one for you later without having to like stress and really like fight for it now. And if you take away anything from this video, it's please try them on first. Please make sure you try them on first before you purchase them. Don't get too turned off if it's the men's style. You can wear them nobody will know. Nobody has to know, right? So don't hesitate to try on the men's styles. Try on different sizes to make sure you're able to find one that's comfortable for you, and please try them on first. That's like my advice for most shoes, but like these in particular, because the sizing is whack. Do you have a pair of Chypre sandals? Like, how do you like them? Let me know in the comments down below. If you have any other questions about this style, feel free to leave them down below or head on over to Instagram and I'd be happy to help however I can. If you like this video and you found it helpful, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate all of your feedback and support. If you like this kind of content and you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I post new fashion-related videos every Sunday and Wednesday. So until next time, bye!